Hi friends, welcome back to my crafty desk. Sandra here at Blossom and Inspire. I'm putting the cover on to one of the Family 4 journals. Putting the covers together sometimes take a lot of work for me, or dressing them up I should say. This is a wedding dress and I'm trying to unwedding look my journal. And I want to use all these pieces, so I am going back and forth on this, but I thought it would be nice to show you my process for anyone who likes to watch the process of this. I'll say this took about 3 hours for me to put together. I have edited it down to just, I think, about 40 minutes. And I'm going to try and remember all the things I did so I can explain it to you. So this wedding dress was just hanging there. I bought it at a thrift store, and in the beginning I had pulled this out in one of the beginning videos and said, "Oh, this is going to be pretty. I like the timeless piece. I like the whole thing." But then all of a sudden it was taking on this very wedding journal vibe, which is gorgeous, but this wasn't a wedding journal. So I needed to figure out how can I use all my beautiful laces that I love so much, making this journal for someone that I love so much, and not making it a wedding journal. So I'm messing with this here, just going with the wrinkles and the flows of where the wedding dress was bunched up. This is at the bottom of a wedding dress that I cut off. And this topper was made several months ago. So these weren't made to go together per se, but made so that they could go together. I really love the wedding topper, or not the wedding, oh my gosh, see, it looks like a wedding journal. I really like the journal topper. I really love that lace. My cover, you can see, I had put tissue paper down. I really wasn't feeling the vibe of it just wasn't enough color. This right here is the back of the journal, and I'm thinking maybe I can unwedding it by adding some color to the back and just making it a little bit more fun, and just more, oh gosh, I can't even think of the word, just more fun. So I found this strip of fabric that I really liked, and I'm just going to tuck it right under here, under the lace that I had put on to cover the spine. This lace is what is under the wedding dress, and I liked how it was showing through just slightly, with giving the wedding dress it was the main attraction, that lace. Yes, so I'm liking this, but it's still a lot of lace. It still looks wedding to me, and I'm just trying to figure it out. Keep looking through the book to see all the colors that I put in there. I'm liking it. So here I go. I'm going to lay that strip down. I'm just going to go for it. I was hemming and hawing. I thought, what if I don't like it? What if I don't like it? I'm so far into the process. I do not have time to make another journal at this point. But I'm just going to go with it. I liked it. I was going to just video this with you and not do a voiceover, but I wasn't able to do it. I just couldn't. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was trying to figure it out, so trying to talk and explain what I was doing wasn't working, and I noticed that my video was very, very silent, and so I decided to take the voice off and do a voiceover, which also gave me the opportunity to shrink my 3-hour video down to 40 minutes. So now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking I need more lace on this side. I just felt like it was unfinished, so I'm trying out different laces, going back and forth with them. As you can see here, does it look good under the fabric, over the fabric? What am I gonna do? Oh my gosh, I am telling you, like, I was so tired. I thought, please come together. I loved this. Now this piece right here, I loved, and then I did that, and I thought, nope, dang it. And then I also seen so much of that cover. So, just back and forth, back and forth. I am like, you couldn't just imagine the mess that's going on around me. And then I thought, oh, wait, I have this lace on the inside of the journal. Maybe, and I'm like, yes. And bingo, there it was. I loved it. I loved it. So it's not the exact greens and stuff that are on that strip of fabric, but I think they play well together. I think it looks good enough with that bird. You see my thumbs up? I'm like, yes, you did it. You did it. Oh my gosh. I'm spreading the glue out a little bit with my fingers so that it doesn't get real thick and hard right there. I still need to put the closure on. I haven't done that yet, and that's because I wanted to go through the lace. So hopefully my crocodile is strong enough. It should be. We'll find out. And then I'm like, that lace, it was just too much. And I thought, can I put the lace? I'm flipping it back and forth a lot here because I'm thinking, can I have just the lace on one side? Can I? Are there rules? Who's going to stop me? I don't know. So just checking it out. I like all the wrinkles and the ruffles and the bows. I love everything. I felt like this is really starting to look a little bit more journally. The front does still look a little bit wedding-ish, but I'm going to fix that here, as you can see. I'm going to pull that up, which was a good thing. Look at that brown thread that snuck in there from my all my sewing. That would have been in there forever. So I guess this was meant to be. So I thought I'm just going to bring that lace to the front and bring a little bit of that color in, and then maybe that'll help. You know, can it still be a wedding journal? It sure could, but I feel like I've definitely am taking the only wedding look off of it and making it more versatile. Does it? I feel like it is. We shall see. But I do like it. I need to pull that lace in just a little bit more, so I don't have a giant, because I'm still going to put a closure there, and I don't want to just fold the lace over. It's going to probably a tiny bit just because I'm going to have it over a touch, but I think you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to throw my glue down, spread it around again, and this time I decided not to use my finger because that wasn't fun to clean off. And then I'm just going to get that piece on the edge there, ever so gently, just slightly tugging and pulling while it still is letting me, so I can get that little bit of the edge. I just want that little tiny edge going over. And you know, it's going to be covered by the lace, but that's from the outside. You also have the inside, so we have to keep that in mind also, right? So when we open up the journal, what are we going to see? And there, that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see that little bit coming over, and I think it looks really pretty with how I painted the inside of that cover. So it's just so interesting how I was able, how I was able to put all these pieces together. The cover I made, gosh, years ago. The journal topper I made with you when I first started my YouTube channel. I believe we made that together. So that would have been like, what, March or April. And then here I am pulling it out to dress up, and I'm just going with it. So nothing, it was all made in bits and pieces. I love it. I love it. I love that big piece flopping over. I love how it's coming out down below. Now I'm noticing that I have all these curves and textures and rolls and pieces, so I decided I didn't want a straight edged journal cover on the paper. So where the paper is going to show, I want to rip and tear. And then I'm also thinking that this is a great opportunity to kind of grungy it up a little bit. You're going to see that in just a second. And I felt like that really was starting to pull it together a little bit more, because the cover, once I had sealed the top part of that, sorry, not the cover, but once I had sealed the first top part of that journal topper, you know, the ink that I used wasn't a waterproof ink, so it did smear the ink a little bit, making it a little bit, giving that aged, timeless look. And so I really wanted to pull that throughout the topper there. So I love how it's having the creams and the whites, and that side right there, you can see what I'm doing right there, like just pulling those pieces out. And then when I get that all glued down, all those parts will hopefully, fingers crossed, stay intact. But you know, once I hand it over, it doesn't matter to me. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh. Just rip and tear, rip and tear. That's all I'm doing here. I want to get all these straight edges off. I'm really liking it. That piece of that doily, that circled part, that's it. That was an accident. When I was gluing and sealing, it stuck to my finger, and I just pulled it right off without even realizing it. But it still looks good. I mean, no one knows it wasn't intentional. Well, except all of us. So don't tell anybody my secret. I suppose I could have edited some more of this out, but it was really, it's not as easy as you think. I think altogether I spent about 3 hours putting the cover together, and then I spent, what time is it? I think I've spent an hour and a half just editing it down. And then the voiceover, of course, it's going to be 40 minutes because that's how long the video is. So this was a process. I know not all my friends really like the voiceovers only, but I felt like I was gypping you if I didn't show you the process of how I put the cover together. It's such a big, giant part of the journal making to me, and I really, really enjoy it, and I put a lot into it, and I wanted to share that with my friends. This was honestly the only way I was going to be able to do that without making a, 3-hour video. And who has time for that? I would fall asleep. I literally got done putting this journal together, or this cover. I went upstairs, had to do some answering emails, a few emails. My husband made dinner, thank God. We had dinner, I had dessert, and I fell asleep on the sofa at 7 o'clock. So I was exhausted. So I know I wouldn't have been able to watch a 3-hour video. So isn't she so cute? I just love this. I love this. I'm going through now, and I'm actually dropping that ink down on all those lace pieces, and it comes out pretty nice. I like it. I still have white popping through. I have the little white pearls popping through. I feel like it just really pulled everything together, and it really helps that white wedding lace behind just pop enough for me. And I feel like I took it down a notch from being a wedding journal to it could be a wedding journal, but it also could be a different kind of journal. So I don't really know what else to say right here. I should have edited a lot more of this out. I could sing to you, but I don't know if you would like that. And there I am. I'm squeezing the air out like my friend Mitch told me to try. I don't think I squeezed enough air out though because my lid popped off. It's a learning curve for me. Everything's always a learning curve. So I'm messing with the journal on the back with the lace. Like at this point I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? Because I love the colors that I dropped back there. I feel like it really made it look different, but that lace, it's just so much lace. So I'm going to roll it up here and see, can I roll it up? What does that look like? Does it look, and I'm only rolling it up to see what the back would look like without the lace. Do I like it? Because once you cut it off, you cut it off. And I'm just deciding, like, what do I do? What do I do? I just really, truly do not know. And I have to commit because I can't be down here any longer. I need to get upstairs. So I'm going to flip it over to the front and see, like, let me finish this up and see what I have left in the back to work with. So here you're going to watch me just kind of fumble my way through folding and tucking. And I'm going to grab my glue and just start poking glue down where I like it and see how this figures out. I know that it's going to add a little bit of bulk on the top of the journal, and I have that journal topper, but I feel like it's going to work out okay. I give it a test run here to see, and yep, lo and behold, it's going to work, and I like it. I like the fluff. I'm checking the top, making sure, is it going to be pretty on the top, on the side, on the back? And yes, it is. See, don't you love that? Isn't that so pretty? It's so pretty. So I love loving my work. It feels good. I wasn't loving this brown top journal cover so much, and I'm really loving it now. You can't see it, but I love it. So I'm gonna just add my glue in drops. Sometimes I over glue, I feel like, and I make really hard spots on it, but I did check it out the next morning and it seems to be pretty good. Like, it doesn't feel, it feels stiff in some parts, but I think that's just, I can always go back and I can drop something on there if I feel the need to, a little gem, something. It's so cute. I can't wait to do the flip through on the journal. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. So I'm just going to tuck and fold until I get the entire top of this done. It does take me a minute. I did think about editing all this out, but this is seriously part of the process. And I know for me, like, I will watch sometimes, I'll get a piece of it, but I want to see the whole thing. Like, I want to see the whole thing through. So that's what I'm doing. So please feel free to fast forward through this part if it's too long for you, or you already know how to do all this, or you don't need any inspiration from this. I don't know. I'm just being silly. I'm just trying to think of things to fill the empty space to say. But while we're doing this, I guess I could tell you that I'm going to do a process video on, I think, all the journals covers, because they're all different. None, I don't think all of them are going to be this long. This one was pretty intense just because of all the wedding lace. I think just trying to get it from looking like a wedding journal to an everyday journal was, it was challenging. It was really, really challenging. I'm so glad I followed through on this, though. I do like the way it came out. I have another journal topper that I actually tore apart. You may have already seen it by the time you see this video, but so that one was a little bit of a process as well. I just wasn't feeling it. I kept trying to make it work, and I just thought it was too specific, and I don't know. I just wasn't in love with it. I needed something. I need to be in love with it. There's so much lace. I'm thinking at this point, I've already got so much tucked down. I'm thinking, should I have cut some of this off? And then I thought, well, if I did, I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't have enough to do all the ruffles and tucks. And it's easy to cut off after, like pieces that are too big, than it is sometimes to add to it. Because I don't know. I guess it just depends on exactly how you're doing it. And I've never done this before. I mean, I say that all the time, like, I've made journals, so, and I'm creative all the time. I try to be. But I don't think I could replicate this. It's just not in my DNA, I don't think. So just pressing it down, trying to see how it looks. I love that ruffle. Isn't that so pretty? I hope I remember that how I did this. I would like to replicate this. Actually, it's quite nice. And see my finger where that flower is. I noticed that little flower right when I was doing that, and I was like, oh, that would be like a perfect spot, especially if the glue's really hard in that area, and I could put like a little sequin or a gem or something. And there I am. I'm bored. See me? I'm bored holding the glue down, so I'm like, I'll just try and clean my mat at the same time. Is that what ADD is? And I'm liking this. Isn't it pretty? I like all the poofs and puffs that are popping under the top. I left them in there while I was doing this. It did make it a little bit difficult, but I wanted to see how everything was laying out. It does help me, but I think at some point in here, I end up pulling some things out just so that I could get this done. I don't think I needed them in my visual at the moment, at that time. And here I am. I'm still messing with that side. Like, what am I going to do with this lace? I don't know where to cut it, I think, is my thing here. Like, I know I don't want this big lace in the back, but where do I make the cut? Now, if you look on the side here, you'll see where I'm showing you. This is where I'm going to be able to put my eyelet for my closure. And I like it, because then it also will bring the eye to that green. I still haven't decided on what I'm using for my closure. I went through a lot of my haul stuff that I haven't really put away. I've just kind of put in container. Oh my gosh, it's such a mess here. And I think there's a bunch of ribbons in there, and I think something in there is going to work nice and complement those colors. And just be soft and pretty. I just cannot decide what to do. See where that's the top of the corner, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get this lace to go over? I'm trying not to glue those threads down. Do you see that? Every finger must be used. Those are all the tools. I need to use all the tools. Isn't it funny? If I use my finger, that stuff sticks to me, but if I use a tool, it usually just stays down. As I'm watching this, I'm realizing I used the tip of my tweezers a lot. I'm hoping I didn't glue them shut. I suppose if I put them in ribbing or that acetone, it'll open them up. Well, I'm really fussing with this. I did not realize how long of this part is I'm gonna try and edit this out. If I was not able to edit a lot of this part out, I apologize, my friends. I did think about dropping some ribbons and stuff down the side here, but I really felt like that journal topper was over the top, and that bow down there was so pretty. I just really liked all that. And I don't think it's over the top. I just like how that all came together. I didn't want to take away from that cute bow at the bottom. That's really what attracted me, was that gathering on that bottom of that dress. And I was like, oh, I must use it. It jumped out at me. See, there I go. I'm like, okay, all right, ladies, come on out. It's time to get serious. I got to figure this back out. My closure, everything, just like what's going to happen. All right, here I go. I need to add more. It was still looking wetting, so I found some more of that fabric. I cut it down, and then I ruffled it on my sewing machine. Now I'm going to add this to the bottom. I'm going to bring the back to the front, and I really feel like this is what it needed. I still love it the next day when I was looking at it. It's still very pretty. It actually even looks pretty without the journal topper on it, but there's no way that journal topper is not going on. I'll tell you that right now. Well, you already know, because I'm sure you already seen the flip through. Maybe. I'm not really sure what order these are going to be in. I don't know if the flip through is going to be before or after this. I'm thinking I'm going to put my journal cover, putting them together. I was thinking about putting those later after everything, just so it wasn't like and then just like a bonus video, like here's how I did it, if you want to go watch them. Not in place of a regular daily video. I hope that made sense. So I'm really loving this. I'm just going to trim it off. I do wish I hadn't used the brown thread, but you know, at this point I was tired. I wasn't changing my thread, and I was going to make it work. And there's enough brown and vintage colors in here that I thought, and there's brown actually in that fabric, so it does work. It does work. So I'm going to get that attached on. You're going to see me do that. I'm going to figure out the best fitting for it, how I like it, and then I'm going to go ahead and wrap that little piece around the back. But before I can fully commit to the back, I need to address the dress. All that lace on the back. Still too much. So I'm just going to keep moving forward on the front, and all the commitment. Just get it down where I know for sure things are going. And then I just trying to figure this out. I could smell, I remember right here when I was doing this, I could smell dinner. It smelled so good. I was just like, I just want to go upstairs. But I can't. I have to finish this. I am running, at this point, I was literally running out of time. I also knew at this point that my journals were too fluffy to pack in our bags. They were just too big. And I was going to have to mail them. So I'm going to be doing this, and hopefully Murphy does not join the party for my trip. But I'm going to put them in those flat rate shipping. I'm going to put them all together in one box and ship them out to their destination with a note. I already called my cousin and told her that I'm shipping a box out there and to not open it. Just set it aside. And the reason why I thought about doing the shrink wrap on them, but I have like the little baubles and things on there, and I don't want anything to break. Oh, that would be horrible. So I decided I'm just going to ship them. If for some reason they get out there after me, then so be it. But I want them to be safe and fluffy when they arrive. Okay, so here it goes. I got to figure this out, and I got to make a commitment. Do I want the ruffles? Do I want it cut? I know some people probably think, why do I waste so much time on the back of the journal? But I didn't want it to, I wanted it to stand out, and I wanted it to be colorful and whimsical. That's the word. I wanted there to be a little bit of whimsy in this, and I really felt like that fabric piece did it. But when I cover it up with the lace, it takes it away. I almost felt like I was covering up something I didn't want there, if that makes any sense. I'm liking it. I'm contemplating. Okay, I like that ruffle. I like that ruffle. And then, of course, more lace, you know, because I didn't have enough. I'm just trying to, like, decide where I want that top ruffle part to lay. Do I even need it to be... It doesn't seem that significant. I don't even know. I mean, generally I'll look at the video sometimes afterwards. Well, here I go. Commitment. I'm cutting the lace. What do you think? It's so scary. If you were able to hear me at this point on the video, you would have heard me say, I've had enough of this nonsense. I just need to cut it and be done with it. So I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to just see where I'm at. I think what it is, I'm deciding, like, once I cut it, what am I going to do with the piece that's left over on the side? Because there's going to be a piece left over. And that was kind of like, I don't know. I just don't have enough confidence, I guess, in myself to know that I can fix it. But then I decided, what have I got to lose? And I do like that. Look at that. See, that's pretty. That's what I like. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. I love it. It's not finished, but I love it. That to me looks better. That does not look like a wedding journal now. I mean, it could be, but it doesn't have to be. That line, though, that's what I was looking at. Was with the between that fabric and that lace. It just needed. It was like an unfinished seam area, and I wanted to correct that. So that's what I'm doing here, trying to figure out, like, how I want that. Do I want just that little piece there? I actually think either way looks fine. I do like the way that I did it. My preference, of how I did it, I do like that better, just because I love the messy look. I'm a messy person. So I just love that. So that's what I went with. I went ahead and put that piece down. You'll see just here in just a moment. That was the winner. And then having that little bit of lace popping through, I like that because I think it brought the front to the back with the way it like flew over. And then look at that commitment. Yay. I feel like I deserve, well, actually, I know I deserved something fun. I gave myself ice cream for dessert after this. I was like, well-deserved ice cream. My morning trip to the gym. It wasn't actually ice cream. It was frozen yogurt, so I feel a little bit more better about that. And then just bringing the front to the top on that top part. I think that's what I was trying to mess with earlier when I was working around the thing. I think that's what I was deciding, like, will this work if I pull it over and just kind of carry that to the top without going all the way across? Because, as you can see, I cut the lace off. There's no all the way across anymore. So here I go. I'm just going to go ahead and just lay some glue down and get my pieces in there. And, you know, it does take me a long time to do this, but at the same time, I really am slow. I'm a slow crafter, and I don't want to be, well, I mean, it's not that I don't want to be a fast crafter. I would love to get more things done in a more timely fashion, but I feel like that would kill my creativity also, so I don't want to do that. But that's another reason why when I sell my things, I don't charge for my time, because if I did, I would never sell anything. I mean, what kind of price would I put on there? I know a lot of people do that, and that's fine, but maybe they are faster crafters, or maybe they're not, and that's why I mean, I've seen journals, upwards of $500, even more. I've seen them up to 700 and something journal. Now, I don't know why they're that much. Maybe it's because there's a lot of real vintage, and even the vintage, like I'm thinking it would need to be like antique. I just don't see, I haven't come across personally a journal that I would spend that much money on. And maybe if money wasn't an option, an option. Maybe if money, well, money is not always an option, right? Maybe if money wasn't a factor, like if I just had tons of it and I didn't mind, I would. I still don't know that I would. I really don't. I see lots of beautiful, beautiful journals with lots of beautiful things in there. You can see the love that's in it, and I think that's mostly what I'm looking for, is the love that's put into the journal, and not the slap it together journal. Does that make sense? And if I'm going to pay extra, in my mind, what I consider to be extra of what I would normally pay, then I want to know that I want to know I can see and see the love that's put in it, so that when I receive the journal, I can feel the love that was put in it. That may sound completely corny to a lot of people, but that is the truth of my feelings. Anyways, I still, even with all of that, there's still, it depends on what anyone can afford. And I don't sell my journals for, I don't think, too much money. I really just don't think I do too much money. I get really, really good deals on all my stuff I get. I know I spend time shopping and getting the things, but that's something that I enjoy and I do anyways. So I feel like I'm already gaining by being able to do that. And I'm already going to places. Now, if I was specifically doing this as a business to sell the journals, and I'm just talking because I gotta fill this empty space. But if I was doing this strictly, if I was shopping strictly just to make journals and strictly just to sell journals to make money, then it would 100% be a full-on business, and then that would all be overhead costs. But the majority of the time that I'm doing this, I'm already out there doing it. So even though it's a business, it's still something that I'm already doing and enjoying. I don't know how to make that make any sense, but that's how I feel about it. So that's what I'm doing. And because of that, I feel good about the prices that I'm getting, and about when I'm making this. The friendships that I'm growing on YouTube is definitely, gosh, that already is like payments in so many ways to me, spiritually. And so I like to keep my journals, depending on the type that I'm making, I like to sell my journals between, I guess if it was like just a regular, like a notebook type journal, I like to sell my journals, spit it out, Sandra, between $30 to about $85. And I really like those price ranges. I think they're fine. I think they're nice. If I'm doing like an exuberant amount of work in a giant journal and I really don't do these, I've only done them a couple of times, and it's specific, like a very specific journal. So for instance, like the wedding journal that I made, there were so many parts and pieces to that, and I actually did purchase digi-kits and special things to make that journal. Because I did that, if I was to sell that journal would definitely be at least $150. But even so, like, I've seen journals in that type that other people have made with similar things, and I used a lot of vintage stuff on there, but it was things that I'm getting at all these wonderful sales, and I enjoyed making it. Those journals, I would see them closer to the $300 mark. I'm not saying there's one way, one right way to price your journals, and I'm not trying to undercut anybody, but I'm also not going to follow the path of many to satisfy the few. Does that make sense? I want to feel good about it, and I do feel good about it. So these journals right here that I'm making, I think these journals right here, I would definitely, depending on what's going into them, and how I'm doing them, but I really feel good about I don't know, between $50 and $60. I think that's a lot of money. I think that it's definitely plenty. I think it definitely helps to support everything that I've done, and if some people feel like it doesn't, it's not enough because of the time that's spent, other journal, people that maybe are selling their journals, and I apologize to you that you feel that way. But I feel good about it. I feel like it's fine. But anyhow, back to the cover. So I'm laying these down, and I'm really, really loving that. And honestly, I think even if I didn't take that piece, that lace, and take it over, it would have been fine. But I did want to finish that through. I liked how it was drooping at the bottom. So when the journal's closed, then you can see both ends are drooping down, and I like that little drip of lace. And then when you open the journal, you have that little drip of lace on the covers, when you're back there. And I just like that. I like to look at it from the outside and the inside. I'm sure everybody does, but that's what I'm doing. So I cannot wait to give these to my family. Well, I guess by the time you see this, I will have already given them to them. And hopefully, by the time you see this, I will be able to tell you how they reacted. I should video that. But I would have to do it with them not knowing. Oh, goodness gracious. So I'm just pulling. If you can see what I was doing, I was grabbing it. I just wanted to have a little extra ruffle at the back. I love this. You know what? I actually love this so much that I want to do this for a front cover. Like, it's gorgeous. And with that green lace at the very end, you can still see the cover and what I did a little bit. So it's not all lost and forgotten. It's still there. I will probably have to go back and fix a few little pieces here and there at the top, making sure everything is secured down. Isn't that cute? And I actually have some of those little flowers. I thought about putting one back here, but I don't. It's already kind of full, and I don't really, for whatever reason, I don't want to make the back of my journals bumpy. Too bumpy. The front of the journal can be super bumpy, but not the back. Oh, see what I did? I used the bottom of my little brush, and the ink the ink dropped off on that glue fabric tag, pulled that ink right off. I'm trying to clean it. That's not going to work. So lesson learned. I hope I'll never do that again. Sandra's secret. We're just going to take a few of those pieces that we cut off, and I'm going to layer them on top of that. And hopefully it hides it enough. I think it did. I feel like when I'm looking at it again, like I have to look for where I did that. Where did I do that? I don't even know. So I lay those down, and I feel like it covers it up enough where it just looks like, if you can see it, it looks like it could be a piece of that fabric. Like the dark spot of the fabric. Oh my gosh, I'm like literally pointing at it while I'm talking to you. Like you can see my fingers now. So there we go. Crisis averted. Oh, my squeaky chair's in the video again. I really need to break down and buy a new chair. That's the next thing I'm saving up for. I'm going to get a chair that doesn't squeak and doesn't hurt me when I sit in it all day long. My cute clam-shaped chair is just not very comfortable, and it's super squeaky. But it's really, really cute. All right. I'm loving this. I think I'm really loving it. I'm still kind of contemplating on the edge, on the end there, like, what do I want to do? Do I want to do anything or just leave it? I'm thinking I'm going to leave it. But honestly, it could change by the time you see us flip through. Or the flip is going to be before this. So if it's not on this video, I change it. Thanks, guys. Bye.